Jacob. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Jacob. Would you like to come talk to me in the van?
Why not? Sure.
Okay, come on in. Be brave. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
I am very good. I wanted to create a cool space, which I think this is, for people to just talk about anything, just to connect and kind of try to make the world smaller by seeing that we all kind of share a lot of the same thoughts.
Absolutely.
So I would like to play the game.
Okay.
We have a wheel here that we spin the wheel, and then whatever subject matter it lands on, we set the timer, and then we just talk about that. You tell me whatever the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Are you open to that?
Sure.
Okay,
well,
you want to spin the wheel?
Looks like it's already pointing towards
It is
sex.
pointing towards sex, and it is van therapy after dark. So it makes sense to go there. Would you like to go there?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I would like to know what a young person thinks about sex, has questions about sex. Are you having any sex?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And how's that going?
I consider myself lucky because I get to look at it from both ends of the spectrum, having sex with men and women.
Oh, wow, okay.
Part of the reason I moved out here to California in North Carolina, that's not too, we don't really talk about it. It's kind of kept on the low. I know for my generation and for me, and even though I'm 22 at a younger age, sex was always related to connectivity, feelings. There was no real emotional connection besides how good you were in the bed. If you were great in the bed, then usually your relationships lasted a little bit longer until, conflicts came up because you had based all of your foundation on the fact that this other person, whoever it may be, had fantastic sex.
Okay.
Everybody that I've had sex with, it just never really ended up anywhere because it was all, again, based on the fact that either me or the other person, whoever it may be, had fantastic sex, and it made you feel good. And if this person made you feel good, then it seemed right to stay with them. And if the slightest problem ever came up, then it just kind of fizzled out, went away.
When you kind of had to deal with each other.
Absolutely.
As people instead of just sex.
Absolutely. And sex was used for everything. It was used for making up with each other. It was used for making each other feel good. It was used for making as a gift, everything. It was sex was everything for a relationship. And I've noticed, talking to people around my age, 18 to 25, younger generation, that seems to be the case in most relationships. Is, there is no, I say old school, but first, second, third, fourth, fifth dates, and then that moment it happens, and it's just okay. We met on Tinder, Facebook, Instagram. Let's go see how good we are together in the bed and see if there's any fireworks in the bed, and if there is, then let's see where it goes.
So that's really the first go-to thing.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
absolutely.
It's funny that you said old school, because of course that would be what I am. But first of all, I really appreciate you talking about it, because I think people don't talk about it, of really any generation. And I kind of can't imagine the best sex happening without knowing someone. I mean, it seems like that's when you would feel the ability to be the most open and honest, right? And sort of ask for what you want in a way that is safer because you know the other person.
Meeting someone, finding out who they are as a person, like really finding out who they are as a person, not just what they want to show you. There is definitely a higher level of connectivity. There's a higher level of intimacy, knowing that, okay, I know this person for more than what they show me and for more than what they show the outside world. I know who they are inside as a person, like, what their fears are, what they enjoy the most, what they don't like, what they like, and, that could be as simple as something, okay, this person doesn't like to be kissed on the neck. Okay, now that I know this,
Oh my God, who wouldn't like to be kissed on the
yeah,
neck?
Absolutely. But,
But yes, there could be someone and you would know that.
Absolutely.
Do you think that your generation is not looking for a life partner?
We're looking for someone that we can almost possess. We're looking for someone that we know will be there no matter what we do. So, for instance, I'm dating this girl and I can have sex with whoever I want, but if she does, then, we're going to have issues about that. But I still want her there for something I can go back to. It's
You're
almost,
saying hypothetically, or
Mhm.
that's what somebody in your generation might want.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
It's you're looking at someone else as a piece of property instead of a person with real feelings and emotions.
Why do you think that is? I mean, where do you think that's come from?
A sense of entitlement. At least for me, that's where it came from, because I was that person. I was that person that...
I think it's from technology.
That too.
I think it's from how separated your generation is from cell phones and texting and emails, and so far away from really connecting one-on-one with people that it's what you've grown up with, that not connecting.
Absolutely. The ease of meeting someone nowadays and developing I would almost say just a false relationship with someone that you've never even met before has allowed us to speed up the process of getting to know someone from, I don't know what it used to be, where you had to, call someone at night, like actually on the phone, or even before that, you had to meet them.
Yeah.
Now it's, okay, we can FaceTime. I can get to know you 10 times as faster, which means I can get in your pants 10 times as faster.
And it's a problem because...
To me, I never saw it as a problem. Now, from someone standing on the outside, a fly on the wall, I guess you could say, it's a problem because although, there's this whole big thing nowadays where it's just sex. And
is that, can you explain that to me? I don't even know.
Saying...
Is that a thing people do? Just
absolutely. I meet someone and we're not going to be anything else besides using each other for physical gratification.
Okay.
One person may be able to keep it like that, at least in my experience and watching other people's experiences. There's always that one person that thinks there's something more, and when it turns out not to be like that, depression, people turn to drugs and alcohol, people do all types of things to cover up that pit, that emptiness that person left.
Well, do you think that's why people are doing the just sex thing in the first place? Is just because they are lonely, or no, you think it's because they're entitled and they're just like isolationists?
I would say it'd probably be a combination of the both. Especially media today tells us that sex is sexy. It's the thing to do. It's makes you cooler, makes you a better person, and makes you feel great, which it does.
Did you grow up watching porn?
I did, yeah. I did.
I just feel like, okay, there was no internet when I was growing up. So, of course, I guess there was porn. But, porn was not a thing that even entered my mind until maybe my late 20s or something. And, I mean, when I've watched it, to me, it's movie sex. It's not real sex. And so when you're with someone and there's this movie fantasy, this idea that girls with their I mean, I'm sorry, but nobody really does that.
No.
That's not. And then I think young kids are watching that and thinking that's what it's supposed to be, and then they're performing it with each other, but they're not actually feeling anything.
It gave me an idea that, okay, all sex is going to be like this. My first time having sex wasn't that monumental. It didn't last very long, it was awkward, and it just wasn't as exciting as I thought it was. And to me, sex is supposed to be an intimate time to where I can get to know you more than physically. It's a time to build a high level of intimacy and connectivity.
Maybe by more people talking like this, maybe we can, get it to be in a place like that. Do you feel like things like condoms and are those conversations that are easy for your generation to have? Is everybody using condoms, or are people not using them? What's the truth?
I know for me, the past 3 or 4 years, everybody I've had sex with, I have seen papers
You have?
Absolutely. I go and get tested for STDs and HIV every 2-3 months. I, as a person, want to make sure that I'm not going to contract whatever illness, disease that this is, and B, I'm not going to selfishly and unknowingly pass this on to someone else if I do have it. And stuff like that just doesn't happen.
I don't know if everybody behaves like that. I think a lot of people try to get away with not using condoms, and I'm not just saying men. I mean, I think people are awkward about it. I think young girls don't actually know how to say, hey, we need to use a condom and put it on. They're worried if they do that, it will ruin the mood. What do you have to say to that?
I agree absolutely with everything you just said.
Is there anything you could tell a girl to make her feel better about the next time she goes to use one?
You as a person, you are, and I'm quoting something that, you know, people may believe or not. To me, my body's a temple. Like, what goes in my body, what comes out of it, everything. My body is, it's the only thing I really have full possession of is what I do with my body. 35 minutes away from me where I used to live is a campus called East Carolina University. And I can't remember the numbers now, but back 3, 4, 5 years ago or something, 1 in 3 females and males, everybody, 1 in 3 people at that university had an STD of some type.
Right.
1 in 4 had syphilis, and I think 1 in 5 had gonorrhea. It was ridiculous.
Right.
Everybody was having sex with everybody.
Unprotected sex.
Absolutely. And if that's your MO to go have sex with everybody, do it. Own it. It's you.
But
if you're
I'm
going
just curious,
to,
like, how could we stop that? I mean, what is the? I mean, like, I get the obvious. Guys want to feel what it actually feels like, so they don't want to put on a condom. And I get from a girl's point of view, you know, I don't know. Maybe they feel awkward about it. What could the dialogue be between a guy and a girl to make that be safer, but also maybe still be erotic, or, you know, still be sexy?
the easiest solution, at least in my mind, would be to make getting tested more known. To be able to have places you can go and, you know, not feel bad about actually going in and getting tested, because that's a whole nother experience in itself. It's like, okay, I have to go to this doctor and say, hey, I need to get tested, I might have an STD, I might have this, that. That's not a comfortable conversation to have, because I've had conversations like that.
Right.
Especially when I was in college before this at Appalachian State. It just wasn't something I was comfortable with. Now, after going 2 or 3 times and, you know, realizing that I shouldn't feel ashamed about what I'm doing. it should be part of my daily maintenance, like brushing your teeth or brushing your hair or having a shower. Okay, this is for sure when you get that paperwork back that says, I do not have anything. That's a relief in itself.
Yeah.
We've done all the education and teachers showing, okay, this is what gonorrhea is going to look like, and this is what syphilis is going to look like. Absolutely. That was a really fun day in 8th grade. I remember it very vividly. And like a physical each year, you go in, if you play sports, you get your ears checked, eyes checked, make sure your bones are in shape. Okay. When you go and take a urine test, they check to see you're hydrated enough. You know, It takes nothing to add another couple tests to show, okay, yep, you're good. Mainstream media portrays it as just this horrible thing, and you're a slut, and you're a hoe, and you got this because your inability to keep your clothes on is the reason why you got this. And it's just not true.
Right.
It happens. It's like wiping your hand on a door handle and you're sick, and someone coming behind and touching it, and you get sick as well. You got sick, okay? There's antibiotics you can take.
Okay, you really have. I'm so grateful that you're talking to me about this. I hope that other young people see this to feel like they can have a dialogue. We could find that there's some beautiful, magical, sexual way to be with another human being that you know and trust, where you find all new levels of intimacy beyond like just the orgasm. I've never talked to anyone your age about sex like that. Do you mind me asking, for people that, you know, don't know or have never met anyone that's bisexual, the people that have judgment about that, is there a way to explain that?
I can't help being attracted to someone as much as I can not liking the taste of the food.
And why would you want to?
Exactly. Instead of somebody shaming me into fitting into one category, and that comes from both sides. That comes from the heterosexual side as well as the homosexual side. The heterosexual side says, well, you're just being greedy. And the homosexual side says, well, you're just not fully accepting that you're gay or lesbian. And although there may be some truth in that for one or the other, I know for me and for a lot of people that I've met that are bisexual, it's just they like who they like. And I'm not going to let someone else's opinion, especially someone who hasn't sat down, had a conversation with me, understands how I feel and sometimes why I feel that, affect, you know, me having a good night's sleep. I'm not going to let someone affect me being confident about myself walking down the street. And I did for a long time.
Okay, you just seem like the most beautiful person to me. Was there a turning point in your acceptance of yourself?
There was. About a year ago, actually. I was surrounded by a large group of friends at that point in my life. I had told somebody for the very first time, and they went around telling everybody else, spread my secret. And when all my friends came back and said, okay, what's the big deal? Or I told my father, who's been in the Marine Corps for 30 years. I told him before I told my mother. And I was expecting we were going to get out of the car and we were going to fight about this.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, and he looked at me and he said, I love you all the same.
Oh my God, that's just so great. Oh my God, I'm so, because so many kids are not having that experience.
No, and I was blessed to be able to have that experience.
That's amazing.
And I hope that, kids coming forward can realize that there's no reason to feel bad about who you are or what you are or who you're attracted to. And the people around you who are trying to make you feel bad about the way you feel are people that you shouldn't have in your life to begin with, and that are people who may be struggling inside with their own battles.
Right.
And they are...
Usually it has more to do with them than it does with you.
Absolutely. And, if I could just say that when that moment came, especially when I told my father, and that weight on my shoulder, and I had that big breath, and I was just like, and everything's okay. Nothing changes.
I would just wish, I'm so happy for you, and I just would wish that for everybody
Absolutely.
that's struggling.
And hopefully going forward with, like you said, more education about it, and hopefully people can listen. And that's the main key, is people have to listen. They can't be stuck in that same mind frame that their great-great-grandfather had passed down to them.
Mm-hmm.
And, just like how mainstream media can affect us in negative ways, it can also affect us in positive ways,
Yeah.
And hopefully going forward in that we can maybe bring that into fruition.
I think you're a good start.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. I'm just, wow. That was amazing. I gotta come over and give you a hug. That was just amazing. You are an amazing person. Thank you so much. I can't believe you made me cry. Thank you so much. It's so nice to meet you.